My girlfriend recently asked for a break to focus on herself, requesting no contact. However, things took an unexpected turn when her mother tagged her in vacation photos with her high school sweetheart. I respected her decision and sent all her belongings to her parents' home, changing my relationship status to single. When she eventually reached out to talk, I found myself in a surprising situation. My name is Liam. I am a 29-year-old male. Sharing this personal story on Reddit is not something I ever expected to do, but the audacity of recent events has compelled me to write it out. Approximately 2 months ago, my girlfriend of 3 years, Chloe, who is 27, dropped a bombshell on a normal Tuesday evening. She expressed the need for a break, stating that she needed time to rediscover herself and find a part of her that felt lost. She tearfully insisted on no contact, assuring me that it was her, not me. Despite feeling stunned, hurt, and confused, I respected her wishes and offered her space. Hope hacked a few things and mentioned staying with her sister Sarah to sort things out, promising to get in touch. The initial week was incredibly challenging as I grappled with her absence and the silence in our communication. She worried and kept telling herself to respect her process and her journey. Then, 10 days into this journey, she's scrolling on Instagram. Chloe's mom, Brenda, had posted 50 photos of a chipper album from their family fun beach getaway. She was so glad a certain someone could make it. Her stomach dropped. First, Brenda, Chloe's dad, brother, and Chloe were all grinning in one photo. Then another photo showed Chloe arm in arm and laughing with a guy who looked familiar. Lastly, there was a group dinner picture where Chloe seemed to be practically in this guy's lap. Brenda had tagged him as Ethan, 27, her high school sweetheart who she had claimed was nothing serious. This revelation made her blood go cold. She needed to figure herself out, so she decided on no contact. It wasn't about self-discovery. It felt more like a monkey branch to Ethan with her mom as the enabler, showcasing disrespect and calculated deceit. She couldn't even give her a clean break. She didn't rage, call, or text. Instead, she took lots of screenshots. Then she went to the spare room, Chloe's extended closet and art storage, and spent 3 days meticulously packing every single Chloe item. Clothes, shoes, art, books, trinkets, into sturdy boxes, secured with bubble wrap and packing tape, along with creating a detailed inventory. 1. I took photos of the contents of each box before sealing them, documenting everything meticulously. 2. The courier service charged approximately $280 to ship a dozen large, insured, and tracked boxes to their destination. 3. I made note of Brenda and Chloe's father's name and home address. 4. Upon receiving confirmation of delivery, I logged into Facebook. 5. I updated my relationship status to single and took the necessary steps to block Chloe, Brenda, and others from contacting me. 6. I deleted our shared photos from my phone, retaining a few on a secure drive for safekeeping. 7. For about 3 weeks, I enjoyed a peaceful and serene environment. 8. I focused on self-care by hitting the gym and reconnecting with friends while dedicating myself to work. 9. However, last night I received a call from an unknown number. 10. Hello, Lime, a hesitant voice spoke. 11. It's Chloe, she said tentatively. 12. I remained calm and asked, how can I help you? 13. Chloe expressed her readiness to have a conversation and work through our issues. 14. I replied sternly, there is no us to figure out, Chloe. 15. Update. Thank you for all your comments and support. Many of you wanted to know what happened next after my last update. The room fell into a hush after Chloe's prolonged silence, her thoughts churning. What, Lime? What do you mean? She finally inquired. I requested a break, not a breakup. I asked for no contact so we could both have some time to introspect, she explained calmly. Lime chuckled lightly, his sense of entitlement shining through. You came to the realization that you can't live without me, he remarked sarcastically. Chloe shook her head. No, I realized that I don't want to be with someone who deceives me to vacation with an old flame, she asserted, her tone firm. Upon hearing this, Liam confronted her. How did you find out about that? Chloe's eyes widened as she confessed my mom inadvertently tagged Ethan in our vacation photos on social media. Liam responded, your mom's actions might have been unwitting, but it exposed the truth. You wanted to explore things with Ethan while keeping me in the dark. Chloe attempted to explain it wasn't intentional. Ethan was just there as part of a family gathering, a friend of my brother. Liam interrupted. Events don't just unfold, Chloe. Choices are made. I wanted to show that I respected your journey, so I took the next step in facilitating it. Your belongings have been sent to your parents' house. as they arrived there about 3 weeks ago, according to tracking records. Your dad signed for the delivery. There was a brief silence before you whispered in disbelief about your belongings being packed and sent while you were away. I believe that you wouldn't want to be tied down by reminders of our old life or apartment. The items included your art supplies, vintage jacket, and your grandmother's earrings, which were carefully bubble wrapped in box 7. I understand it may seem vindictive, but it was a decision made with consideration. Let me know if you'd like an inventory list for each box. I was under the impression that you needed some time alone, or that you expected me to patiently wait while you figured out the future of your high school relationship. What we had was not a simple romance, it was complicated. But now, that complexity is no more. It's all in the past. I am now single. To be clear, I may have shed some tears, but I'm not sure if they were real or out of frustration. My heart is fragile, and I wonder what would happen if someone broke it. I've packed my belongings better than you ever did, and they are fully insured. But that's your concern now, Chloe. You always seem to be there after everything has happened. I invested 3 years of my life in our relationship, just like you did. The difference is, I didn't end it by sneaking off with an ex. Then Liam's voice entered the conversation, introducing himself as Brenda. He angrily asked what I was doing to his daughter, accusing me of throwing her things out. Brenda intervened, saying that Chloe was devastated and that Ethan was only a family friend. However, Liam pointed out that Chloe was seen in compromising photos with Ethan that Brenda posted. Chloe, vulnerable and caught in a difficult situation, was being twisted and misunderstood. Seeking comfort, she informed me of her need for space and requested no contact. She made it clear that if she chose to seek solace in Ethan's arms, that was her decision. In response, I decided to end our relationship. To my surprise, a package containing all my designer bags arrived, leading me to worry about their safety during delivery. Feeling overwhelmed, I asked Liam to apologize and rectify the situation. She was inclined to grant you a second chance, yet your sense of entitlement was astonishing. As she had shown willingness to forgive, I informed Brenda that there was nothing to mend. Chloe made her choices, and so did I. All that remains is for her to collect her belongings, starting with unpacking any emotional baggage. Ironically, I didn't pack that item. Upset by my response, she called me a cruel and heartless young man. Dismissing her accusations, I expressed gratitude for their past hospitality, which motivated me to send Chloe's possessions to their residence. Following the abrupt conversation, I blocked the unknown number, feeling a sense of relief. However, the audacity of their actions continues to drain me. It seems likely that they do not consider the matter resolved. Update Liam accordingly. As predicted, the situation is far from over. The level of indignation displayed over my decision not to reconcile after being betrayed is remarkable. Approximately a week later, Brenda called to report her imminent return home. Returning home from work at 9:00 p.m., I found Chloe sitting on the stairs outside my door, with Brenda below her like a gargoyle. Stan's eyes were red-rimmed, and he approached me with determination, insisting we have a face-to-face conversation rather than over the phone. He criticized my behavior and called me a coward for ending the call where I was being insulted. I kept my voice low, not wanting to disturb the neighbors. Stan tried to explain that his actions were a mistake and that Ethan meant nothing. His mother had thought it would help him. Chloe attempted to rebuild trust, expressing how much she missed me, but I remained unmoved, stating that the trust was gone and I was not interested. The situation became more tense when Brenda interjected, hinting at Chloe spreading rumors about me. It's been challenging dealing with your control. Your abrupt decision to remove her raised some eyebrows. I, on the contrary, respected her space and arranged for her belongings to be shipped. How does that equate to control? Instead of discussing it with me, you took swift action. Sending my belongings in tea felt forceful and intrusive. I expect my key back since the locks were changed for security reasons the day after your items were delivered. It was satisfying to know that your key no longer worked. Chloe appeared upset, while Brenda seemed caught off guard. Brenda, you altered the locks on our shared apartment, which Chloe willingly vacated under false pretenses. Chloe resorted to emotional manipulation, shedding tears and making accusations. What about my special ceramic planter? Was it among items? Did you destroy it out of spite? That would be a new low. I took pride in unpacking that large, awkward, lime green planter with extreme care. Box number 3 was meticulously labeled as containing fragile pottery, layered with 10 sheets of bubble wrap because, although unsightly, it holds sentimental value. Chloe admitted she hadn't gone through all the boxes yet, refrained from speaking disrespectfully about her artistic creations. I'll continue to address the packing situation only if. I'm sorry, I need to excuse myself. Chloe pulled me aside, pleading with me. No line, please. Ethan isn't a good match for you. He still lives in his parents' basement. It was a shocking revelation. I gently removed her hand and explained, Chloe, our choices have consequences. You chose to deceive and disrespect. So now I can't be with you. Ethan's living situation is not a concern for me, but it may affect your future. Brenda then intervened, warning us about potential repercussions among our mutual friends if they found out how poorly Chloe had treated Chloe. It was a veiled threat, but I remained composed. I made it clear that I have evidence to support my integrity, including screenshots of family outings, career receipts, packing lists, and more. As tensions rose, Chloe and Brenda were visibly taken aback. I asserted that I do not wish for drama, but I will defend my reputation if necessary. I then announced my intention to go back to my apartment and asked them to leave in 5 minutes, threatening to involve security if they refused to comply. Police if necessary. I walked past, unlocked my door, and stepped inside without looking back. I closed and locked the door, leaning against it with my heart pounding and feeling drained. I waited, listening to the footsteps receding. Once the front door of the building closed, I knew they were gone for now. The audacity they had to try and smear me, and the entitlement they had to think I would crumble was unreal. I poured myself a stiff whiskey, realizing this was not the peaceful moving on I had envisioned. However, each interaction solidified my decision. I have been documenting everything, which has proven to be the best decision as it serves as my shield against their craziness. I am morbidly curious about their next move and embracing myself for it. I will update if the saga continues as I continue to build my case file. Moving on to the latest update on the Chloe and Brenda saga. Hopefully, this will be the last update, but if not, I might need to find an off-grid cabin after the apartment ambush. After about 10 days of blissful quiet, I started to believe they had gotten the message. Silly me. Their next move was an email, an official-looking scanned letter from a lawyer. My stomach flipped as I read that Chloe was seeking $5,000 in compensation for emotional distress, displacement, and loss of shared assets due to my actions. Unexpected and abrupt end to a long-standing cohabitation situation, along with the wrongful taking of valuable personal possessions, led to a moment of laughter on my part. The irony of the situation, particularly regarding the personal items amidst my packing, was not lost on me. I once enlisted the help of a lawyer for a lease matter, and the experience was quite smooth, costing me $200. With my lawyer's assistance, I crafted a response that was both courteous and assertive, essentially asking the other party to respectfully leave. This response outlined the voluntary departure of the individual in question, a period of no contact to allow for personal reflection, and provided evidence supporting these claims. The evidence included posts on social media indicating premeditated plans with another person, tracking information for shipments with signed confirmation, and comprehensive photos of the items in question. A warning was also included, stating that any further attempts at harassment or extortion would result in legal action for harassment and defamation. My lawyer clarified that since we were not married and did not share assets, the individual had no valid claim to my belongings. After sending the response, there was a noticeable silence. About a week later, I heard through an intermediary that a mutual acquaintance had aligned themselves discreetly with the other party. What happened was Chloe experienced a significant breakdown after receiving a response from her lawyer. Brenda, feeling furious that her legal threat had backfired, faced the consequences. Ethan, realizing that getting involved with Chloe meant dealing with drama and potential legal issues, decided to end their rekindled relationship. He informed Chloe that he wasn't prepared to deal with her baggage and wished her well. Ironically, Chloe found herself single again and back at her parents' house, surrounded by her belongings, reportedly blaming someone for ruining her life. Brenda, feeling miserable, blamed the same individual for driving Ethan away and upsetting her daughter, showing a lack of self-awareness. Interestingly, some mutual friends whom Brenda had tried to turn against this individual started asking uncomfortable questions, pointing out inconsistencies like Brenda going on vacation with Ethan while still in a relationship with Liam. This attempt at a smear campaign backfired, exposing manipulative behavior. Rather than seeking revenge, the individual let others face the consequences of their actions in a calm and methodical manner, presenting facts while others resorted to fiction. It's a fact that I feel a sense of relief knowing that Chloe's grand plan has failed, leaving her with nothing but her possessions. It's not about rejoicing, but more about a quiet sense of satisfaction that the toxicity has been removed. Karma has taken its course, and after weeks of silence following the lawyer letters, I've even changed my phone number just to be safe. I feel a weight lifted off my shoulders. The situation was difficult, with moments of hurt, but facing it with a strategic approach instead of letting emotions take over has brought me peace. I stood up for myself, maintained my self-respect, and didn't allow manipulation. I'm even going on a date next week with someone new, without any expectations, just focusing on moving forward. My apartment finally feels like my own space. Life is looking up. For anyone dealing with betrayal and entitlement, my advice is to stay calm, document everything, set clear boundaries, and sometimes the best revenge is removing yourself and letting their own chaos catch up to them.